I really hope that people are taking, just like you said earlier, the story she's sharing and looking at your life and being able to determine, hey, am I in something right now that I've been in for way too long and now I'm just complacent? Or am I running from something too soon just because it's uneasy?
And it was difficult because I really, I had breakdown after breakdown. I was in a depression. I was in a spiral. I didn't even know it was a depression. Like, you see this Instagram pages that say, typically Black women don't really know when they're depressed, because our symptoms and our signs are a little bit different because how we have to appear in the world. I had no idea I was a depression. I knew that I was having mental breakdowns consistently. Every time I was in the office, I would go to the bathroom and just be crying. It was a very, very difficult emotionally, but it taught me everything I needed to know. Every single difficulty, I knew this is what I needed. And it helped me understand what it meant to be a good leader, a bad leader, what it meant to be a good teammate, a bad teammate. And I'm not saying other people, even saying for myself, the mistakes I was making, the mistakes I saw people make. It helped me grow in many different ways. And in that moment, all I could remember, I would say to myself, it's okay to be grateful and want more at the same exact time.
Yo, so we've had a couple guests on where we have talked about cybersecurity. We've had a couple different cybersecurity engineers, from Chris G, which is one of our most popular episodes that y'all love, to Tay on Tech, who he himself is a dope cybersecurity influencer. And we talked about the importance that companies see in having a security engineer to protect their data, protect all of their information from hackers, online pirates, just a variety of different things. But we don't talk about it from the perspective of us as individuals. Everyone's so concerned about the protection of data with these companies, but all of us have our own personal data. We have our address, we have our credit cards, we have personal information that, let's be real, probably the most important thing we want to protect are our children. So our guest today, I'm excited to have her on. She is a huge cybersecurity rock star and is making huge leaps in other ventures, which we're going to talk about here. Let me go ahead and read off Fareedah's her bio. Fareedah Shahid is an award-winning internet safety expert and Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree. She specializes in helping parents protect their kids online. Her work has been featured in Cisco, CNN, The Wall Street Journal, y'all, NASDAQ, NASA, Fox 25, Fox 46, Fox Carolina, Afrotech, shouts out to Afrotech, Ebony Magazine, okay, Yahoo, NBC4, Worth Magazine, and many more. And Tech is the New Black now. I always want to say give a round of applause. But listen, if you listening, you watching, whatever, go ahead and still give a round of applause for our amazing guest we're excited to have, Fareedah Shahid. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me. I'm whoa, who's that you read? I don't know who that is.
That's you. So I've just kind of a bit of a backstory. When I saw you online, I loved and love your brand so much because, to the point that I said earlier, I was like, it's a lot of people out here that are talking about, cybersecurity, online security, but they're usually talking about it from a company perspective. They're talking about it from just the day-to-day in the job, which is cool. That's important. We know people want to know about that, but we're speaking on it and are speaking on it from an angle that actually protects us as individuals. So it's not even just about big companies, but it's us, the most valuable asset are people that are here on the earth. So I love that so much. Just wanted to kind of just really quickly give you your flowers and say, I really love what you're doing.
Thank you. I love it too. Absolutely love it. It's a life's mission, so I'll do this forever.
Okay. All right. We're gonna watch and tune in forever. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So you're a cybersecurity superstar, but you come from very small beginnings, growing up in Saudi Arabia. So what was that like, and how did your upbringing lead you to success as a security engineer?
So I moved to Saudi Arabia at 7 years old. My dad got a tech job. He was working for the U.S. government. So we lived in this military compound for the first couple of years. And I went to an international school for the first year, maybe, or 8 months. And then I transferred to an all Arabic school. So I ended up learning Arabic. I knew Arabic, English, and French because everyone knows French, at least in which section? Most people know French there. Yeah. If you went to those type of schools where you had to learn, similar to Spanish. Spanish is the new French.
Yeah.
Or French is the new Spanish. So it really helped me because I understood different cultures, different backgrounds, different people, very accepting of people, very accepting of people's different viewpoints. So in tech, you're always working with different backgrounds, and you're always having to relay information in different ways so that everyone understands it in a way that makes sense to them. And so when you have language barriers, you have to do the same exact thing. So translating from Arabic to English, from French to English to that, it was a lot. But when you go into tech, you have to translate techies. We have legalese, but what's like what's tech? Well, like techies to English.
I've actually never heard that. Techie. That is true. Techies.
It's like techies to English. So it was very similar. And it honestly helped me in so many different ways. I really love being what they call a third culture child. It just means a child that grew up in a culture that's different than their parents.
Wow. That's actually, and that makes so much sense, because especially you being so young, because I don't think I really was able to branch out and be around other people who weren't like myself, and never even to the degree that it was for you, until I was an adult. And I saw how much that opened my mind up to understand other people, other ways of thinking, and it allows you to have a certain level of empathy and a certain level of just emotional EQ. And but I could imagine and even see like how that's benefited you with you being so young and knowing 3 languages. That's crazy.
Now, do I know 3 languages now? No, I only know Arabic and English. We're working on Spanish because that's my grandmother's Panamanian. So I feel like it's my birthright to know Spanish. And then I would love to learn some other language. We'll see what it's going to be.
Yeah. Okay, man, that makes so much sense. That's fire. So tech companies, they hire cybersecurity engineers, we talked about before, to protect their data. But how does your business help parents protect their children online? And what are some of the use cases for those services?
So I got into my business because I grew up as a gamer. So in Saudi Arabia, I started gaming at like 13 years old. I would do the pay-to-win games online.
Pay-to-win? I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know what that is. What is that?
So it's basically games that are free, but if you really want to get into the game, you actually want to win games, they force you to pay something in order to win. It's like those mobile games that don't mean much. And so I didn't get into like what you call like hardcore gaming until I was like, I don't know, 16 or something. But I grew up as a gamer. When I came back to the States, I love people, I love cultures, I love languages. And so that allowed me to develop the skills that people really wanted, that they didn't know they needed, but when they met me, when I talked about my background, they were like, oh, well, can you just do training? Can you talk about gaming? Can you talk about social media? You grew up in the online world. And so the reason why I got to individuals versus just companies, because individuals they're really interesting. Like the psychology of people, like when you're young and you're around like every culture imaginable, because international schools. Like I had everyone from name a country and I had someone in my class there. Crazy. So when I got into tech, I was like, people matter the most. So when I'm talking to individuals, it's just so interesting. And so now I just really forgot the question you asked, but you just like sparked that. No, so that's why I focus on individuals. And even when I was working in corporate, and we had like internal clients, my main focus was how do we help the people understand security? Because the people are what matters. Like we have all this tech and the tech is amazing, but people have to create tech. People have to use tech. And so how do we talk to people in a way that's empathetic and that is kind and that is effective?
That is cool. Man, that is an interesting experience for you to be, like you mentioned, around all of these different cultures, because man, I mean, even aside from languages, like people's version of humor is different from one culture to another versus what's offensive. I mean, just a variety of things. So, wow, just like how that experience can shape you. And that's tough navigating that, because it's like, man, you could be talking to one person and again, using that humor example, they could have a version of humor that's normal in their culture, then immediately turn and talk to another person and it's entirely different. And so for you to have been in like that interesting melting pot, that's like a very interesting thing to navigate. But you said something in the midst of that where you talked about under like tech, like I guess in a degree, I'm going to paraphrase, but kind of in a degree, understanding different people. Like, I guess, what does that look like? Like, what harm is there when either tech companies or software in and of itself doesn't understand certain cultures, or maybe excludes considering certain cultures with their program, their data, whatever?
I love that question. Actually, that's a great question. I say what I see a lot in tech, which is what pushed me to work with individuals versus just companies is, and when I say work, I still work with companies, but the focus is on parents and kids and individuals versus it like being business to business.
Yeah.
And what sparked that was when I was working in tech, when people talk to people, when we're talking to people who are in tech, there's a certain language that we use.
Yeah.
But when you're in a room with people who don't understand technology, it's not that they're dumb or stupid, it's that they just don't understand technology.
Yeah.
So but there's this concept or this idea in tech that if you don't understand exactly what I'm saying, then you must be dumb.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm like, okay, so we're very smart individuals, right? Do you know rocket science?
Oh, no, I don't.
No, exactly. I don't know rocket science, but it doesn't make me any less of an intelligent human being that I don't know rocket science. So a lot of people in tech, and I know a lot of you watching know that they'll make you feel dumb and stupid because you don't understand the concept they're talking about. Yeah. And tech is a huge umbrella. Like what we're talking about AI, we're talking about machine learning, we're talking about cybersecurity, we're talking about program. Like what are we talking about? Architecture.
Yeah, we can use the same acronyms in tech, but depending on what sector of tech you're talking about, that acronym means something entirely different.
Exactly. And so we have this like haughty culture in tech of like, I know it and you don't know it and whatever, especially with non-tech savvy people. So when I was working in departments and we were working to help people understand cybersecurity, don't click on this link in an email, the fraud and scams, they typically would say humans are the weakest link. Humans are dumb. Humans are stupid. And I'm like, how can you walk in a room and tell someone, hey, you're dumb, but we're going to need you to be like a little smart today and not do this X, Y, and Z. And the reason why it triggered me was because it reminded me of my experiences in the Middle East, being the only black child in the room, being talked to like I was dumb and stupid, being told that I was dumb and stupid. And I'm like, I just got off of the plane. I don't understand this language. It's like, give me a second. I learned it in 2 to 3 weeks. I was fluent. I was good. But that 2 to 3 weeks, it was really difficult.
That's tough.
And so everything that happens in your childhood follows you for the rest of your life. And so for me, in order to find my passion, I had to look back at my past and what aggravated me, what made me passionate, what made me like stare in awe. And so I realized that it really upset me when I was outed, when I was othered, I was put down, I was dumb and stupid. So when that happened in tech, I was like, oh, no, that's not happening around me. And I wanted to create an environment for people who are non-tech savvy to learn tech in a way that protects themselves, in a way that's fun and engaging. Yeah,
that's super cool. Yeah, we were talking offline before we started recording about an event that you're going to do later this year, and we can. I just brought it up, so I guess we could talk about it. We can talk about it. Yeah. So this wasn't initially in the agenda, but we'll definitely jump into that. So you're doing an event later on this year. Very creative concept. Can you go ahead and talk about it?
Yes, absolutely. So the event is for parents to learn about protecting their kids online, and I want to make sure the event is engaging. And I know parents really want their teens to understand tech and safety, and that because their teens are like, let's say, on Roblox or on Fortnite or on Call of Duty or on TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is. Minecraft is a huge one. Yeah, and Twitch. And they're on Twitch and they're like watching these streamers. And so there's a lot of focus on like, how do we protect kids online, but how do we make it fun? So my idea is to bring TikTok individuals, people who are like on Instagram. It's interesting because we don't say Instagrammers, we say TikTokers and YouTubers and streamers.
Yeah, maybe we just say social media influencers.
But for whatever reason, we never say Instagrammers.
No one says Instagrammers. I guess it doesn't roll off the tongue as well. No. Instagrammers.
It's like Instagrammers. But anyways. IGers, it just doesn't fit. But basically, people who are on social media that the kids know, and that I know some of them, not all of them, to bring them to the conference to learn about social media, to learn about tech, to learn about gaming, and then also to like sneak in a little safety. It's kind of like putting a little spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. So they're the sugar, and then where medicine is like safety and security.
I'm not gonna be able to get that song out of my head. The
spoonful of sugar. Exactly. So that's basically the entire, like, that's one side of the conference, and the other side is bringing experts in holistic healing, childhood wound healing, parenting, understanding conscious parenting, how to talk to your kids, how to have difficult conversations, how to talk about sex with your kids, how to talk about gaming and all that. How do we bring families together so that you can protect your kids online? Because tech, especially when it comes to individual and families, it's not about tech. Tech is about human beings. Tech is about your brain. Tech is about your heart and soul. We're talking about someone continuously clicking on a link. What's going on in their environment that allows that to happen? They're not just clicking on a link because they want to click on a link.
Yeah.
They may be stressed. They might be overworked. Something may happen. If they miss an email, their boss is going to be on them. So they want to make sure that every email is opened. So like what's going on in their environment that allows that type of behavior to continue? It's not about they're dumb or they're stupid. It's just what's going on. So if a child is online and they're continuously talking to strangers and they're sending nude pictures to random people and you're trying to get them to understand it's not that, oh, they're a bad child or whatever. They're just a human being. We all love connection, attention, entertainment, joy. So how do we connect with people in a way to show them what is your ultimate goal? What do you really want to do? Does this fit into what you want to do? If it does, then how do we make this fit? So you love talking to people online, which I used to do that, by the way. I love talking to people online.
Oh yeah, you're like one of the people that had like an online community that you were talking to.
Oh yeah, because I would play games with we would do raids, and you have like 45 people in a call. We didn't use Discord, we used TeamSpeak then. Shout out to TeamSpeak. I'd be in a call with like 45 guys, and we would be raiding, and we'd be like on the call for like 6 hours straight.
Raiding, like playing games and stuff?
Like you do dungeon runs, you do all the type of it was so much fun. I love it. I could talk about this for hours. I love gaming.
So cool. That is so dope. I'm so, you know, it's funny. You're maybe Tay was the same way. Tay was someone who was in cybersecurity, but the first guest who we had who used to work in as a security engineer, and we actually didn't talk much during that interview about security engineer, but he was talking about how his kind of start was in gaming as well. I think I'm starting to notice a bit of a correlation behind gamers and like tech and stuff.
Yeah, my first keynote speech, actually my introduction to the cybersecurity world was through gaming. Yeah. So I was talking to my mentor of mine, Dr. Jessica Barker. She's amazing. And if anyone's interested, if you're watching this and you're interested in cybersecurity, you're interested in the correlation between human behavior and cybersecurity, I highly suggest that you look up Dr. Jessica Barker. She's amazing. I don't know if she's going to do mentorships, but I got lucky, okay, like 5 years ago. Yeah. But we were talking over dinner, and I told her how gaming correlates so well with cybersecurity. And I learned almost everything I needed to know about cybersecurity through gaming. And she was like, oh, well, we should do an article. I'm like, no, I'm not doing an article about that. She's like, no. I know someone who runs a magazine called Info Security Magazine. I want you to do an article. So if you look up how League of Legends can help us protect people online, there's like League of Legends and cybersecurity. I can't remember the name. But if you type in Fareedah Shahid League of Legends, it will come up. It's like a 2-part article that I created. And it was basically everything I learned from League of Legends, which is a massive online battlefield arena game. And everything I learned, I put it in this article, and I connected to cybersecurity. And then someone who runs a cybersecurity conference reached out to me because I posted on Twitter, which, by the way, Twitter is amazing for tech and jobs. And
I'm not on Twitter, but I've heard that I still recommend it to people, even though I'm not on Twitter, but I recommend it for the tech community because I know it's like the tech community is huge on Twitter.
Huge. So if you're trying to get in tech, you're trying to like network with people, I would highly suggest Twitter. Yeah. Almost all of my first big connections were Twitter. And LinkedIn is a huge one now as well.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn and Twitter is like the first ones. But they reached out to me because they saw my article and they said, can you keynote a freaking conference for cybersecurity on your thing? So that was
from your article? Mm-hmm. Was this like your first like keynote?
My first keynote, my first article. I was just in I was in college then. And so I didn't have a job or anything yet. Actually, no, I think by then I had a job. No. By then I was like a year into the job. But when I wrote the article, I was in like the end of my internship. Mm-hmm. And so I had no real experience. But because I took something unique from my background that no one was talking about, they were like, oh, this girl is like amazing. So I got a big like rocket ship into cybersecurity and a lot of eyes on me and my career because of that. And so when I did the keynote speech, they were like, it was one of the best keynote speeches they've ever had in their conference. And people loved it, and they were at the edge of their seats, and they were like, oh my God, that's great. So now, if you don't look it up on YouTube, but if you look it up on YouTube, I think it's good. I don't know, when you think about your own stuff, you're like, it was fine, it was okay, or it was like, no, that wasn't great.
I'm the same way. I've been doing speaking stuff for years, and in my head, I feel like I'm very mid, or sometimes I feel like I'm trash. The only reason I've continued doing stuff is people would tell me I've done good. I'm like,
you're like, okay.
Y'all keep saying so. If y'all gonna fly me out or pay me, I guess I'll show up and do it.
Right, then. I'm like, don't look too close, but okay.
But to that point though, when it comes to you, I definitely, even though I haven't seen the keynote speech, I'm very confident that you crushed
Thank
it.
you.
I mean, because your energy, your body language, and for those of y'all who are listening and not watching, so that way that'll be a chance for y'all to watch instead of just listen. But yeah, your body language, but then also your knowledge, and then your ability to convey like information. Again, I guess all of that goes back to your background of you being around different people and having to learn how to navigate communicating different things to people of different walks of life. So it's so beautiful how all of that has played into just your career now, and just all the super dope stuff that you're doing is helping people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I would say even my parents, because my dad was in tech. He's like a network engineer. And then my mom's a teacher, writer, speaker, author. So I literally just combined those two, and then all my passions. I love psychology, human behavior, language, healing, inner child wound, shadow heal, all the shadow work, woo stuff. I'm into it. Yes.
Man, that's funny. It's like you're what parents hope. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna like let's marry each other,
Yes.
and if we can take like me and take you,
Yes.
and then create. But it's like 9 times out of 10 that usually doesn't happen, except for like in your case.
Look, I'm an only child, so they had one chance.
Oh yeah.
If I got messed up, they're like, well, there's no one else there.
That's funny.
That's it.
Hey y'all, we have some incredible news, and I'm super excited about to finally announce our private tech community. Yes, you heard that right. A private tech community exclusively for you all who want more than just the podcast. You want more than just the FAQs. You want to talk with tech recruiters. You want to talk with hiring managers. You want to talk with coaches. You want to talk with people that can help with editing and rewriting your resume. Maybe you're somebody where you just want to be a part of a community where we're talking about updates of what's happening in the software industry. Y'all, this community that we've launched is also going to involve a Discord where we're going to be talking about updates in tech. We're going to be talking about companies that are hiring. We're going to be talking about upcoming tech events. So that way you don't have to miss any of the gems that I know, but not even just what I know, but the gems that friends of mine that are also in the tech industry know as well. So if you want to be a part of that community, go ahead and sign up so that way you can join us. We have a few different tiers. Ultimately, it's all tuned in for you. Oh, and last thing, also within this community, we're going to be streaming all of our interviews with our podcast guests. So instead of you having to wait months to watch the videos later on, you'll actually be able to watch the interviews in real time and ask your live questions to those guests. So make sure you join our tech community. All right, so that was how you started within the keynote speech. That's so interesting that your speaking and career in tech basically started like hand in hand at the same time.
Yes.
What was that like? I guess because I guess then it became kind of maybe a weird thing where it's like, okay, well, if you're constantly getting booked, it's like almost this pressure. I'm assuming that there's also this pressure of, okay, I have to kill it in this industry because I can't be, in articles and doing these speaking engagements, but it's like I myself am not really, doing well at my job or actually like, really, putting my best foot forward in this industry. So what was that like for you? One, kind of navigating both of those things simultaneously, but two, continuing on, what has your experience been like as a cybersecurity engineer?
So
and that was a mouthful of a question.
Honestly, I will say I didn't feel a lot of pressure for whatever reason. I don't know why, because I still don't feel pressure. I have the most. You would think I would have a lot of pressure right now, but I don't, because I don't know why I don't have pressure. I'm not even getting to why. I just know why I don't have pressure. But I have other things. I had a lot of imposter syndrome. Yeah. But I try not to talk about it too much because I feel like the more you give room for something, the more it expands.
Yes.
And I don't give room for imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to talk about it, but I will talk about it because it's true and it will happen. Mm-hmm. But in this point in my life, there's no room. I don't have imposter syndrome.
I would love it if you could like expound on that statement that you made. I love that statement, but I want to like double back and be like, no, like I want you to unpack that because I really think that's valuable no matter what someone's doing, people who are watching and listening. It's like, I think that's valuable for people to understand that statement that you just made about giving, I'm going to paraphrase, basically giving attention to it and causing it to expand in your life.
I believe that it's good if you're feeling a certain type of way. So let's just say back in 2018, I was feeling a lot of imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. So me feeling it wasn't giving it room, wasn't giving it space. I was allowing myself to go through the emotions and the emotions of it. Yeah. But I didn't need to name it. I didn't need to talk about it all the time. I didn't need to say I had it because then I'm putting my subconscious mind that I am an imposter. Because all my brain hears is imposter, 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 imposter. But if I feel like an imposter and I go, okay, that's okay. We all feel that way.
Yeah, I feel that way, but that's not something that I have. It's just something I'm feeling.
Exactly. Thank you. So it's similar to saying I'm an idiot versus I was being an idiot.
Yeah.
So you saying I'm an idiot, you're labeling yourself. But you said if I was being an idiot, I can change who I was being.
Yeah.
But people don't feel like, yes, technically speaking, you can change who you are, whatever. I'm not getting into that. But the way that our brain hears it, understands it, is saying, okay, then that means that I'm an idiot. And I don't want to say it again because my brain's like, what the hell's happening? Yeah. But in that moment, I was feeling those feelings, and that was okay. And I let myself go through that. But I didn't want to name it because I felt like if I named it, then I was claiming it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to claim it. So I was okay in that moment to go, I feel this type of way and I don't know how to get over this feeling. So I was talking to other people and saying, like, what do you see in me? Why did you book me? What's happening? Talking to my mentors, talking to people who loved me. Like, I had to think about it. I was supposed to be journaling, but I was not journaling. So whatever. But you should journal. But was I journaling? No. But you absolutely should journal about it. But I mean, clearly I got out of it without journaling about it. So I think I was fine. I don't know. But so I wouldn't say right now that I have it, but I do that there are moments where you feel like, what is happening? But I decide to call it like you're in awe of something. You're in awe of the movement you're making. You're in awe of the changes that are happening. Because my life is changing every couple days, every week, every two. The way that it's pacing up, I'm just like, what's happening?
It's like accelerating.
The way my life looked like 3 months ago is not the same now, and the way my life will look like another 3 months will not be the same now. It's going to keep evolving. Yeah.
I love that. That's fire. You said so many different nuggets, and I love that. I love to have moments where, because obviously the whole focus, Tech is the New Black, we're talking, our whole thing is, talking about, breaking into tech, scaling in tech, and starting your own tech business. And we're going to talk in a moment a little bit more about your business. But I love to have moments where it's like, hey, let's sidestep just the focus, just specifically talking about tech industry, and talk about just something in general that can impact people no matter what it is that they're doing. So I appreciate you sharing that, and I know that'll be impactful for people.
Thank you.
So how did you leverage your career in cybersecurity for your business? And so, because again, a lot of people, we talk about scaling in tech and starting your own tech business. And many people are fine, and it's cool. Like, no one needs to feel pressure to start a business.
No.
But many people are trying to figure out, okay, hey, yeah, I want to work in tech, but I also feel called to start a business at some point. I guess, what would your advice? I guess, one, how you did it, but two, advice as to how someone can consider doing that, like leveraging their career in tech for a business.
I would just tell my story, and then I'll let anyone else see if there's something from the story that will work.
That's perfect.
And then if you think there's a nugget, because everyone's, like you said in the beginning, everyone's story is different. Not everyone wants to start a business. You don't know when you should start a business. So the way it happened for me was I was in this program. It was called Year Up. And Year Up was this great program that allows people to have 6 months of like, they call it, I think it was like learn and study about the industry you want to be in, kind of like the apprenticeship type thing where you get into a program where they give you all the skills. I had like 2 years experience in cybersecurity before I joined the program, and a couple of us did. So we really used the program to hone our other skills, like our soft skills, that type of stuff. And then they put you into an internship for the next 6 months. And I love that program because it allowed me to break into tech without having all of the experience. Because in the beginning, I really wanted a cybersecurity job, but they were like, well, you need experience. And I'm like, well, I need the job to get experience. Like, what do you mean? So I was searching on Indeed for a job in cybersecurity, and I couldn't find anything, and I got that ad. So went to the programs, got the first 6 months. I really cared about the last 6 months. This first 6 months, I was like, I guess I wanted to get out of the first 6 months because I was like, I took all these classes already. I don't need these classes, but whatever. It's actually good to take something over again because different professors, different programs, different teachers, it humbles you. It makes you see things from a different perspective. Yeah. So I'm very happy I did that. Then I got an internship at a financial firm, and I loved the internship. It was like my dream job, and they hired me, and I was like, oh my God, it's over the moon. Yeah. And I loved it, and it was really great for the first 8 months, maybe 10 months.
What happened after that?
like there's different changes in teams, changes in people you're working with. Like who you're working with the first 6 months is different than working with the next 6 months, and people move jobs. And so especially when you're because I was in the cybersecurity awareness team and threat intelligence team. And so you're working with different people. And so your experiences are really just the people you're working with. And so new people came in and my experience was 180. Man. And that was when I started my business. I was like, okay, maybe. And I had to get permission from the ethics board to have my business. And I was scared.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I guess you're in security. So, yeah, you're doing, okay, that makes sense.
I had to get permission. And I was praying that they would accept it because I didn't want to have to do something, below, what is it, like under the radar?
Yeah.
Because I knew, for whatever reason, in my soul, I knew this is going to be big. I didn't know how big it was going to be, but I was like, there's no way this is going to fly under the radar. Like, no way.
It's a lot of people in this industry that are doing stuff under the radar where it's like, if you get caught.
I know. And I didn't want that. I didn't want to be like, I just didn't want that. I really wanted to be able to be out in the open with my business. Now, I never talked about it at work ever. Like, I never talked about it at work. People found out. I mean, they're on LinkedIn and you have to do things and stuff happens. But, I started my business because of that. Because I realized there's no room for me to be creative. I couldn't grow. I couldn't do anything. I was literally stagnant. It was literally like, you think you're in this beautiful garden when I first came in and I had everywhere to go and everywhere to do and everywhere to see. And all of a sudden it's like cage.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, and the wings clipped. And then I was like, oh, this is an amazing opportunity and I love this and I don't want to leave. So I didn't leave. I stayed there for 5 years. But I used every opportunity in that position to learn as much as possible so that I could become the best person I could be.
That's so incredible. We had a podcast and a Sky event back in December, and one of the guests, Cortez, was sharing. He was talking about specifically there have been times where he's worked at tech companies where he realized that he was a token. And he said token me. He said, let me be a token.
Yes.
And he said, because he said the same way you're using me, he said, I'm going to use this opportunity to absorb as much information as I can, get as much experience as I can, do everything that I can. And obviously you're not talking about a token thing. You know, at least for the first 8 to 10 months, you were at a place where, you felt very, very good, very welcomed. But still the same concept of, instead of you immediately running, you said, well, no, there's still things for me to gain here, and I'm going to still leverage. And so, but I love the parallel, because it's like there are two sides of it. Like on one end, you felt this pressure, you felt this unease, and some people will go to the extreme where as soon as they feel unease, they're like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. But then there are other people at the other extreme where they will stay in something forever. And I love the fact that you essentially kind of avoided both, but did both at the same time. Where on one end, you're like, okay, I feel unease, but I'm not going to run from this right away. I'm going to still absorb what I can, but at the same time, also create some type of, exit strategy in a way.
Yeah.
And so I love that balance of just the way that, just the way you've moved and things. I think is really dope. And I really hope that people are taking, just like you said earlier, the story she's sharing and looking at your life and being able to determine, hey, am I in something right now that I've been in for way too long and now I'm just complacent, or am I running from something too soon just because it's uneasy?
And it was difficult because I really, I had breakdown after breakdown. I was in a depression. I was in a spiral. I didn't even know it was a depression. Like, you see this Instagram pages that say, typically Black women don't really know when they're depressed because our symptoms and our signs are a little bit different because how we have to appear in the world. I had no idea I was a depression. I knew that I was having mental breakdowns, consistently. Every time I was in the office, I would go to the bathroom and just be crying. It was a very, very difficult emotionally. But I mean, it taught me everything I needed to know. Like every single difficulty, I knew this is what I needed. And it helped me understand what it meant to be a good leader, a bad leader, what it meant to be a good teammate, a bad teammate. And I'm not saying other people, even saying for myself, like the mistakes I was making, the mistakes I saw people make. It helped me grow in many different ways. And in that moment, all I could remember, like I would say to myself, it's okay to be grateful and want more at the same exact time. I was so grateful for the opportunity, but to be honest, I'll be really real. I wasn't grateful in my heart. I had to say it in my head. Because every time, I was grateful in my heart when the paycheck came.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The first of the month and the 15th of the month, I was like, thank God.
You're like, you know what?
I love y'all. This is great. But like the rest of the month, I was like, you're so grateful you're able to pay that bill. That was really great. Yeah. But in my heart, I didn't feel it. And I knew, and I was so right. And I'm like, because I'm in awe because I left like 3 months ago, is that I knew in my heart I would never be able to leave this job until I was grateful in my heart.
Yeah. Until
I could feel it in my soul that I was grateful. And this was in July or August of last year. I just looked around. I was in the office because I was working from home too. So it was like a hybrid environment. And it was not a lot of people in the office. And it was like a Friday. And I just sat there and I just started crying of gratefulness.
Ooh,
and I could probably cry right now. Yeah. And I was like, thank you so much for this opportunity. Yeah. Because without this job, without this 9 to 5, without the people that I was around, I could never do what I'm doing today in this way. I could have never found my passion. The people that I met, the support that I got, like I knew it. And in that moment, I was like, this is your last year.
Yeah. Wow.
But did I know how it was my last year? No. When I looked at my bank account, was it my last year? No. The bank account was like, girl, you got to stay another 10 years. But in my soul, I knew. I was like, no matter what, I know this is my last year. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. But I know my life is about to change in ways that's unimaginable, and it has. And I was like, this is the moment that I can leave. But I wasn't happy I was leaving. Yeah. I was just really, really in a beautiful, grateful state. And that's when I knew, because I never held that state. I was, for 2.5 years, I mentally said I was grateful, but I never felt it. And that was the final year. And then I knew it. I was like, that's it. Then you're gone. That was your test. You passed the test. You're good to go. It's the next one.
That's powerful. Going back to what you were saying earlier, how you're so big into human psychology. It just I feel like most of the decisions, specifically the decisions that you shared here, things you've done, I feel like most of them are so counterculture. Yeah. I feel like they're unorthodox.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah.
And but it's like, man, I wish more people thought this way, because literally everything you're saying, like even you saying like, oh, once you were at a place of gratefulness, again, many people would say, oh, I'm at a place of gratefulness, I've arrived, okay, cool, I'm good, I'm
like, can you cry here. And for me, and everyone's different, I'm a crier, like I'm a crybaby, I'm a Cancer, I'll cry, like say something, I'll cry. But I couldn't cry when I was grateful. I was like, I couldn't cry about it, but I knew if I talked about the job at any given moment, I could cry. And I was like, there it is. Because you're beautiful. Feeling it. Like I could feel it. My entire body was feeling the gratefulness. Yeah. Like I could just flow in the gratefulness. I don't know how to explain it. And that was the year I started meditating a lot more. Yeah. That was the year I worked on my inner childhood wounds. Mm-hmm. That's the year I did a lot of different types of therapy. We don't talk about it here, but it's RTT therapy. I love that type of therapy. I read books like I Am Enough by Mercer Peer, You're the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm about to read The Subconscious Mind. Those type of things. That is when I was like, oh, we have arrived. Not to say that I'm like better than whatever, but arrived in like me. Like I'm feeling.
Exactly.
And so I was like, okay, this is the moment. Like we're good. We're floating.
That's dope. Yo, so cybersecurity is one of the most, if not the most, in-demand roles in tech. It's really incredible, high-paying career, as well as a type of career that companies do not let go of those that are in cybersecurity because they desperately need those that are in that role. Now, listen, y'all. A lot of y'all been asking us for months, yo, what's the best cybersecurity boot camp? Should we do this one? Should we do that one? Listen, there are a lot of good ones that are out there. But the one that's been recommended to us the most that we've discovered is Baxter Cluis's cybersecurity boot camp. Now, y'all, it's really incredible because his program, compared to most other boot camps that are out there, cybersecurity, they are $20,000, $25,000. He has a self-paced program, y'all, that is only $997. And this isn't something that I'm telling you, I'm just saying I believe it's great. I actually found out about it because I know someone who did the program, and they were ranting and raving about how incredible it was. And that's why I had to connect with Baxter Cluis and ask them, hey, can you help our audience out with a discount? And so they're partnering with us to offer y'all a $100 discount. So that way, not only do you not have to pay the $20,000, $30,000, you can get $100 off that $997 price tag they already had. So look, use that discount if you want to do cybersecurity, which we think it's a dope industry, pays a lot. You want to do that, make sure you use our discount so that way you can save yourself $100, and we'll see you in tech. So I want to pull back really quickly so we can kind of jump forward. So you had mentioned that it sounds like there were two different either teams or departments that you had worked in. What were those? You would say two different titles.
Cybersecurity awareness, which is just a lot like teaching people tech, training, articles, and then threat intelligence, which is like briefing, understanding what's happening in the world, who the threat actors are, what are they doing, who are they connected with, what's going on. So yeah.
Can you because one of the things I know our audience is going to ask, they're going to be in the comments saying, hey, we want to hear a little bit more about some of the experiences, and I wanted to tie this into what it is that you're doing now with your business. But I guess what are some, and we could literally, you can talk about it either from your experience working a 9-to-5, or with your tech service based business now. What are some examples of things you've seen with either companies or individuals being hacked or information being leaked, or different threats that, let's be real, threats that our audience should look out for and be aware of?
All of it's going back to how we operate and our daily habits and the way that we think about tech and just really our habits. So it's if you're logging on to something, are you mindful about where you're going, the passwords you're putting in? Are you using the same passwords? Are you being mindful of what I got an email, who's the email from, what's the intent of the email, why would they want to email me this? I almost lost big contracts and personally my business because I thought it was a scam, because it was a huge company. I was like, there's no way this big, I don't know, I have to look at my NDA if I can start talking about them. I don't know if I can. I think I probably could talk about them in a year or so. Yeah. But it was a huge company that everyone knows, every baby would know, anybody. And I was like, oh, there's no way I'm getting a contract with them. And I would immediately sit in your head, you're trained in security. Does it sound too good to be true? Which I don't like that line. I have used it before. I'm trying to stop. Is it why would you get that email? Why would someone say that? Is a huge contract? Why would they email it to you? So you have to have those thought processes in your brain when you're doing daily activities. And that was one of the things that I did incorporate, is teaching people that. We did the trainings, we had automated trainings, you just have to update them, articles. This October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so a lot of activities around there, presentations. Honestly, my job itself, I loved it. Yeah. I would have stayed there for 10 to 15 years had I had the runway, but I'm just happy I didn't, because universe knew.
That's funny. All right, so what is your dream for the future of your business? I mean, obviously you have this amazing event that's coming up this year in October, and looking forward to seeing that and seeing how that turns out. But outside of that, when it comes to what other either services or things are you looking to provide in the future?
Oh, my full focus for the rest of my life is helping parents keep their kids safe online. Because I joined the online world at 13, like I said in the beginning, all gaming, social. No, I wasn't on social. I didn't care about social media. I was like, what the hell am I doing on social media? But now I like social media, by the way. Okay, thank you for following me. But it was, so everything is going to be on how do we holistically help parents protect their kids online, while focusing on strengthening parent-child relationships as a way to protect them online. And then that also helps individuals protect themselves. So how do we gain enough confidence, enough understanding, enough room to grow, to allow ourselves to understand what security and safety means in our daily lives? So everything that I'm doing, so I have a lot of contracts and workshops, events. I do a lot of things on social media, awareness raising. I do a lot of YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I'm talking about different things that are happening in tech and how that impacts kids and families. The conference is basically that. I have like courses where I teach parents, okay, your kid's on Roblox, your kid is on Minecraft. How do you protect them on a Minecraft, Roblox, Discord?
What are things that happen to, because you talk about protecting, I guess, what are some things that are threats or that possibly could happen with children on those platforms?
The biggest thing is predators.
Yeah.
People talking to kids, grooming kids getting into situations that are just not good for them in the future, the wrong crowd, the wrong people, cyberbullying, comparing yourself to other people, wanting to change yourself because you think you're not good enough, doing things that are sabotage yourself and your relationship with yourself in the future. So that's one of the big things. Of course, when we're talking about cybersecurity, we can talk about data privacy and data collection of children and the apps that they're using, even if it's monitoring apps. I did a whole video. It's actually one of the most watched videos ever about how some parental monitoring apps can be used against your kids.
What?
Yeah, things like that. Things that people don't think about but are actually true. So there's certain monitoring apps that are collecting on kids because you're monitoring the kids to keep them safe.
Yeah.
But in order to collect that data, you have to store the data somewhere in a server.
Yeah.
If a predator hacker hacks into the server, which they have, they can leak pictures, videos, voicemails, location data of your children. So you're trying to protect your children by using these tools, but these tools can be used against you and have been used against parents before. Yeah. And so how do we protect against that? And then, of course, age verification. Are they supposed to be on these apps? I mean, do you want your 12-year-old on a dating app? Really don't think so. Yeah. So those are all the things that I talk about.
So much to it. Wow.
There's a lot to it, yes.
And, you know, I'm so grateful for what you do. I mean, one, I'm hearing all of these things, and my questions, even me asking like, okay, what are some of the things that could happen, like, is very sincere, because in my mind, one, I'm not a gamer. I haven't played a lot of games in my life. I love video games. I've just always been a person where I'll be like, oh, one day I'm gonna play games, and I just never got around to it. And two, I don't have any children. I'm rarely around children. I think most of the times I'm around children is whenever Eric invites me over to a party at his house, and I see little people running around.
Like, what's going on? These are little humans.
Whoa! I'm like, this is so weird. It's like little people.
I don't even have kids. That's people are so surprised I actually don't have kids.
Oh man,
that's a whole thing. I don't even know if I'm gonna have kids. That's a whole other thing.
But I say all of that.
But I love kids and families. That's why I love families. Like, I love them.
What's that? I was going that Trick Love the Kids song popped in my head. Trick Love the Kids. But people oftentimes are like, they'll hit me up and say, "Oh, Cyrus, thank you for what it is." And people are like, "Oh man, what you're doing is so needed." And but it's like, what I'm appreciative of are people like yourself, where it's like, man, you're doing something that I could never do it. And it's like just everything about your life. Well, I mean, what you're doing specifically, like with with the parents. I mean, and it's not just about security protection. It's also about, I mean, again, bringing like families together. Parents and their children. Again, going back to the holistic aspect that you've mentioned multiple times. So I love that it's like you're not just doing a service that's going to protect people, which that in and of itself is great. But you're taking it a step beyond that, and it's like your work is bringing healing to families, which of course we know brings healings to communities and so on and so forth. So I'm a firm believer, and I sincerely believe this, that like the work that you're doing and are going to do is going to be something that's the impact is going to be significantly greater than even like the dope event you're going to do. Is going to be something that lives years and years from now are going to be transformed, that relationships with the children are going to grow up in healthy households, and it's like they'll look back and say, hey, the thing that helped healing in our family was we went to this conference and we were watching this content, and that'll be yours. And so thank you just for the work that you do. Thank you. It's incredible.
I'm about to cry. I care so much about what I do so much. I'm like, that's what keeps me up at night. Like I love this so much.
It's beautiful.
I love it so much. And when you can find that means the world. So I hope that everyone watching this can find something that makes you so emotional because of the impact that it makes. And because I'm like, I can just, if I ever pass away soon, now, I'm content, I'm happy. But I don't want to, because I feel like I have a purpose on this earth, and that's the purpose.